So
Great. Thanks everybody for joining the October community call. Today, if I manage to get this PowerPoint started, we're going to have 3 topics to cover. So first, we're going to share some Odyssey news, and then we're going to have Jiwon share her experience participating in the global symposium, and then we'll have two of our APAC study leads. Not APAC study leads. APAC study leads. I thought I said APAC leads. 2 of our APAC study leads from Peking University and Fudan University share about their progress so far with regards to the studies that they're currently conducting within the community. So I'm going to start sharing the screen now. Can everybody see my screen?
yep,
Okay.
clear.
Great. All right, first news. Hello. Hello. Slides. Slides, can you move, please? Okay. I see it was downloading. Okay. So first news, guys. So I announced this, I think, in April or something. So for those of you who don't know, Odyssey vocabularies are updated 2 times a year. So once in February and another time in August. So last time when I announced it, it was the February release. This time we have the August release. So this means this is a sign for everybody in the community who has a OMOP database to download the latest vocabularies and make sure that these vocabularies are integrated with your OMOP instance. Why? Because like last time, we have a bunch of new drugs, procedures, and lab tests coming into the vocabularies, and there are some improved mappings around the conditions. So ICD to SNOMED, some information were sometimes lost, as in the granularity of the mappings have been improved around the conditions. And hierarchies have been improved based on what I saw from the release notes. We're using some sort of machinery hierarchies now to cover for lost hierarchies in the vocabularies. So I think this is a significant release for those of you who have your OMOP vocabularies. Full release notes are available in the GitHub URL you see here on this slide. For those of you who are participating in Odyssey Network studies on a regular basis, please do make sure that this is a priority for you, because we want to make sure that the vocabularies used in Odyssey Network studies are always consistent among the various data partners participating in the studies. So this is the first news. Second news, I think it was announced in the global side. I don't think we ever announced this here in the APAC side, but I might be wrong. But anyways, Odyssey Africa is hosting their first symposium next month. It's happening in Uganda. I would have posted a QR code here for registrations, but unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know which one, maybe a little bit of both, but apparently there were so many registrations that registrations are already closed right now. So if you haven't registered already, maybe next time. But yeah, it's a key milestone for the community where we have one of our new regional chapters in the community hosting their first symposium. So I thought I'd share the news here. I think, is anybody here attending the symposium? Anybody? If you are, Jiwon and myself are probably going to chase you for a recap in one of our future community calls.
Mới bị going rồi. Mới
Yeah, but I
suggest
can't.
bị going.
I can't force my boss to do a recap, right? So I'm gonna.
But we can nominate her.
Ah, I see. So okay, morning. I'll leave that up to you. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, sure. I can text her and say it'd be nice for her to share a recap there. Because fair enough, I think APAC, she probably will be the only one from APAC going down.
Right. It's a long journey, and I think you need to get a lot of vaccinations done in order to just go to Africa.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Like a long list of vaccines. Yeah.
Great.
Assuming that
We'll
she
look
gets
forward.
vaccinated.
We'll look forward to your news. Morning.
Yeah,
Right.
sure. I'll text her. Yeah.
So that's on the Odyssey Africa Symposium, guys. Last news I wanted to share, is the Odyssey 2026 Summer School. So I'm not really very familiar with this program itself, but I do hear it's our second year next year. So we already did something, I think, this year, and we're Columbia University is pursuing another series next year. So for those of you, from the brief information that I've been able to find out, Columbia University is hosting summer schools at their campus, and it's sort of I think 5 days of like hands-on tutorials and lectures around Odyssey, and for you to learn. So I know the event, we still have a long time left, so it's in July next year, but I just wanted to share the news because registrations are already open and the early bird fees are in effect until May next year. So a little bit of very early bird news, but just a reminder as this has been showcased in the global side for people to register and join. So the full details are available on odyssey.org. So there's a link from Odyssey to this URL here about the program itself. It gives a brief description around the faculty and what sort of courses will be covered. And also the registration section is down at the bottom of this URL here. So that's all for me. I do wanted to share. I would have shared more around the global symposium, but thankfully we have Jiwon here who will be sharing us the news herself. So I'll hand over the floor to Jiwon now to share her recap. And she's taken the screen. Excellent. Jiwon, over to you.
Yeah. Can everybody see my screen clear? Yeah.
No,
No, you
I'm
can't?
kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay. You're missing
Yes,
again.
we can see it.
Thank you, Song. So this was my first time being in a Odyssey Global Symposium, and Song asked me to a recap, and I'm pretty glad that I can share my experience in the Global Symposium. Um, so so it was an 11th annual global symposium, and it drawing more than like 400 collaborators from the six continents. So I always find myself digging like this like group photos, like trying to spot someone I know. And I can see Mui here, and I see myself, and I see Data for Life team here, and Korean, Yonsei, my colleagues here too, and Morning here, hi, and Cynthia, and I see Nicole and Michelle, and Changsu and Professor Park, and we had Max, and Song wasn't there, but we never forget Song, right? So I just put him here. Anyway, so and the symposium spanned like 3 days, so starting with tutorials, and on the first day. So through the tutorial, I couldn't learn how to answer the question like through like um, a lot of analysis. So before that, there was an introduction to the journey from the data evidence to using Odyssey in the vocabulary ton 2025, and this was in the morning session. And during the afternoon, there was an advanced tutorial, and there was ETL and standardized vocabulary session and clinical characterization and population level effect estimation and patient level prediction. So for myself, I applied for the clinical characterization because this year I did some core diagnostics, and so I thought learning the clinical characterization will be more helpful for me. So during the tutorial, I thought I could learn like how to answer the questions like who are the target populations and what is the features and attributions and what are the time windows like what that I want to look for. So And there was like time also, and there was a time for me to actually learn run the characterization package. And there was a mentor, he was Daniel, and he developed this whole package, and it was very useful. For the day 2, the main conference was dedicated to plenary session, and the collaborators showcase lightning talk sessions. And the last day, we had our working group activities. So on the plenary session, the George kicked off the entire symposium by introducing Odyssey and history and core values and missions. And as you can see, he emphasized the truth in science, and which is like in for Odyssey, the Odyssey's job is not to debate or try to convince those who don't want the truth. So actual Odyssey's job is to supply truth to those who want to know, and so they can bolster their arguments and win debates. So he said, as long as Odyssey exists, it will stand for truth. And as you can see here, the map, he scaled the of CDM users through the map. So we have like 544 data sources, and there's like 45 countries, and we have like 974 million unique patient records. And the collaboration in the scholarship by NOS here, which is really complicated, and we have more than 900 scientific papers have been published so far. And during this session, we oh okay, sorry. So during this session, we also had time to give a applaud to our international list. And here's Nicole and Moy, Cynthia and Sweta and Morning and Professor Park, and they all got the piece of the globe. So like when they get together, we are like whole one globe, right? And yeah, that was kind of fun for me. And so after the kickoff session, we had a plenary session, and I thought this was a session that emphasized the overall direction of the Odyssey moving forward. So when we talk about the reliable evidence, so it is not just about getting the right number, right? So it's about the being accurate and precise and consistent. So here the accurate means our results are as close to the truth as possible, which is like free from bias, and precise means we have like high confidence in those results that we got. So there's like little certainty. And the consistence means that others can reproduce the same finding across different data sets and settings and populations. So with these 3 pillars here, um, so accuracy and precision and constancy, so this defines the scientific credibility of our evidence. So during this plenary session, we've been seeing how Odyssey have already made remarkable progress in improving the accuracy, but through standardizing the data models and bias calibration and large-scale observation studies. So like what the panel suggested was like now. So the next step was very clear. So deepen our understanding of bias and heterogeneity in treatment effects by leveraging the diversity and scalability of global networks research. So like what we did through the APEC studies, like executing diagnostics before designing the study and even understanding the results. So we can have a better understanding in bias and heterogeneity and actually deal with it. So for the next plenary session, it was about the reflection on the evolution in pre and post market safety review in CDR over 3 decades. And Judy Rakusin, who was a former officer from the US FDA, gave us a presentation. And next, we had a collaborator showcase lightning talks. And so the lightning talk was much about the researcher's speech, like giving a speech, like more of their own study in details. So every session was recorded in video. So I'm sure they're not uploaded in the Odyssey website yet, but if you're interested in any of those research topics, you can always take a look at the odyssey.org website here. At last, so so as you guys know, this was my first year and first time being in a global symposium. So I want to share my personal experience, like at the symposium as a newcomer, an early stage researcher and active participant. So since I joined this community like this year, and it only has been almost 10 months now. So, and I thought I was very amazed that with how much I actually learned and connected during this whole journey. And through participating like 2025 APEC study meeting, I not only improved my analytical skill set, but also like gain a lot of deeper understandings on how to design and execute a large scale real world evidence study. So through every community calls, like scientific forum, I had a chance to know like a lot of incredible people, and I was really inspired by them, like every single of them. And actually, the global symposium I've gotten to see in person, so I was like really excited, and I was like approached them like a lot. Even Michelle, I was like I told him like, "Do you remember me?" And he was there, and I said hello, and he couldn't realize, like he couldn't recognize me. So it took me some time to that I'm Jiwon, and some people thought. Oh, and Cynthia told me that she thought I'll be much taller than expected, and because I'm really tiny. Anyways, it was really meaningful experience for me. So um, what I value most about Odyssey is like so far is there like so many veteran mentors who are genuinely eager to guide and educate young researchers. So we had a session that like everyone can put the poster on the wall, like what they want and what they want, like what they need. And I saw Paul Nagy posted on the wall. He said he want to educate clinical researchers to conduct reproducible evidence. So he's so like I can like I see a lot of like mentors and professors like who are eager to teach and like make educate young researchers, and there's a lot of like people from Taiwan and like Darwin EU, and even like they can put their what they're interested in, like PLP or PLE, like that. So that was like I thought it was very open armed, and thought that that you can earn global infrastructures from this community. So you also get to meet a lot of peers who are like very similar, who has very similar interests and backgrounds, but also sometimes we have very completely different backgrounds, right? And that diversity is like what makes Odyssey like truly special. So it's been not even a year, but working with Odyssey means the learning to collaborate like across disciplines and like cultures and perspective. And that was really fun. So next is like photo time here. See Morning and Changsu and me and Sumin here and Kyung-sun who's at the Yale right now. And like Nicole gave a presentation of Aiden, and me like presenting my poster here and my colleagues here, and yeah, it was fun. And yeah, I of course I met Cynthia, and she was really awesome. Like she like totally supported APEC studies, right? And she actually gave some advice to do more, to get more data partners and like all that stuff. And I met Sweta, and here's Morning. So After I came back from Global Symposium, I got here like Tuesday. So what's next for us now for our APEC community is APEC Symposium 2025. So this December we have, as everyone knows, like we have upcoming symposium December in Shanghai, and so yesterday I sent my notification of acceptance to the collaborator showcase who submitted the poster or lightning talks. So I'm pretty sure everyone got the email, and the symposium is December 6th to 7th. And we are still open with the registration. So here's a QR code. So if you're anyone who's interested and who didn't apply yet, please go ahead. And yeah, and now I'm gonna hand over the floor to China.
No, you're not. No, you're
I'm
not.
not. Okay, I'm not.
I'm going to open the floor to any questions or comments for
Okay,
G1.
okay. For me, okay. Come on, guys. Give
So,
me any. Yeah.
So on the collaborator showcase, guys, for those of you who have been selected for lightning talks, you need to let us know whether or not you will be able to be there in person to give the lightning talks, because this will impact how we schedule the day of the symposium. And this is requested in the notification acceptances that you have received. So if your notification of acceptance tells you you have also been accepted for lightning talks, do let us know your participation by the end of this month so that we can properly plan the event with the host. And now I will open up the floor for comments or questions for G1. Anybody?
Anybody have any?
Yes, G1, why was I not circled in that photograph?
Karthik, see, this is what
Karthik.
happens when you don't turn on your
I
camera.
know. You know what? I was like digging the photo like for like 50 minutes, but I couldn't find anyone like anyone else. I'm
I'm
so
standing right
sorry,
next to
Karthik.
another circle person. No, I'm just joking. I just couldn't resist. I just couldn't resist getting that in. I'm sorry, Jivan. No, it was fun meeting you in person. But yeah.
Yeah, Karthik
sorry
was
for
there. I had a
sorry for
really
no
good
question of
conversation.
substance, but
Yeah, I had really good conversation with Karthik too. Anyway,
Yeah, come on, like Karthik, turn on your camera so that G1 doesn't forget
yeah.
you. She forgot you,
is she
right?
gonna match? Is she gonna match now?
Hi, Karthik.
I'll. But yeah, hey Jivan.
Karthik is there
So on
next
the
to
left.
Chungsu.
Yeah, on the left. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, right here. Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Nah. I just couldn't resist. I apologize for this.
Still,
Karthik.
but still, I mentioned data for life team, right?
You
Yeah, I
did, and
did.
you circled the two other people who were standing right next to each other. So that's good.
Like, my
That's
bad.
hilarious.
Thank you, Karthik, making me
Hey,
so
thank you, Jiva.
lighten up. Ah, thanks.
Karthik, that reminds me, you guys also had a session, right? Working group
Yeah,
session at the symposium. Maybe
yeah,
like
we did.
2 minutes, 1 minute. How did that go? Was
Cool.
it meaningful?
Oh yeah, it was super good. So we were part of the. So well, we were trying to organize a collaborator session, but I think this is the first time that OHDSI also tried to organize it. So there was not a lot of take up, I would say. But
Okay.
we did end up using that time to have a lot of good conversations. So that was quite useful. The active session we took part in was part of the Atlas Web API session, right? So because we have been working with Atlas to redesign the UI UX for Atlas 4.0. So
Okay.
we actually presented the first prototype that we have of the UI based on feedback. And we had a few people, so we had a clickable prototype. So everybody could go and log into could go to a URL and actually touch and feel with the prototype instead of just seeing screenshots.
Okay.
So super useful. I mean, we got some useful feedback. We got some questions, and it was also quite useful to see where people couldn't figure out something, and they go like, "How do I do this? I know you did this, and you've done it so fast. How do I do this?" And you're like, "It is supposed to be intuitive." So yeah, so it was quite useful. But we had the Atlas Web API session. Yeah.
Great. For those of you who missed or scientific forums in the past, so Karthik and the Data for Life team has given several presentations or scientific forums around their platforms and also their experience contributing to the Atlas Working Group as well. So nice to hear from an update from that perspective, Karthik. Yes, morning. Do you have anything to add?
Oh yeah, I just want to say great thanks to G1 for hosting the APAC work group meeting as well this year. And I believe the rest will agree with me, like with a change of host compared to last year, things just went like so much more smoother.
I think Morning is he's targeting someone. That comment was targeted for someone. I wonder who.
Last year, I just forgot. But anyway, yeah, this year was amazing. Like everything was sad, you know, like everyone was
Amazing.
happy.
Oh,
Yeah, so again, if nobody acknowledged, I was gonna acknowledge. So I was personally on holidays during the period. G1 graciously agreed to host the APAC working group session at the symposium this year. So I'm glad to hear that it went well, better than the previous host last year. I look forward to G1's continuous contribution even after my departure.
oh,
Departure? Oh, departure
So,
from where?
really? Come
Okay, give you a
on.
handshake, okay?
Oh, so next to APAC working group, there was a medical imaging working group, and there was several colleagues from my university, and they said like APAC working group, like they laughed so hard, and like they like the mood and everyone was like so light and like happy, and like they were the next in the next room they were so serious, and like they're in a research working group, and like she told me like she really envy that. I'm in the APEC working group, and like yeah, and that's how it went in the working group. So it was very light, not light. It was happy mood.
laid
Like
back, laid back.
yeah,
But
laid
we
back.
still get the work done, right?
Oh
We still
yeah,
get the work done.
we did like a family mood and like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
All right. Any final comments before we hand over the floor to Yongchi? All right. Thanks, Jiwon, for sharing. Like you keep emphasizing you're new to the community, but you're no longer new to the community when you're here for more than 6 months. So you don't qualify as a newcomer anymore. Now you will be a mentor in the community for newcomers. Look forward to your contributions.
I want to be a newcomer. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yongchi, do you want us to share your deck, or will you be sharing from your end? Yongchi?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so could you share the deck for me?
Sure.
Sure, and hello everyone, I'm Yongqi Zheng from Peking University, and today I will briefly walk you through progress on our multi-database study of gastrointestinal risks with GLP-1 receptor agonist versus SGLT2 inhibitors in type 2 diabetes. I will start with where the project stands, then show what we are seeing in the early diagnostics, and finally outline our next steps and a few lessons learned. Next slide, please. Since our last meeting, we have moved 3 pieces forward. First, our cohort diagnostics package has been completed and shared, and several partner sites have already executed it. This let us check that our definition behave across data sources before we move to estimation. Second, our main study package is built and will be uploaded to Atlas demo shortly. Third, we refined our protocol to focus on 2 outcomes that are both clinically relevant and widely discussed: gastroparesis and intestinal obstruction. Together, these steps put us in a good place to transition from diagnosis to analysis. Next slide, please. With that context, let me show a snapshot of the exposure counts we have so far from partners who finished diagnostics. We currently have results from 5 data sources: IQVIA Berggreen, IQVIA UK MRD, TMU, and a master dataset from Korea, and IQVIA Pharmatics Plus. For GLP-1 rest under an ITT design, counts range from dozens to over 12,000. specifically 486 in Berkeley, 5030 in UK, 75 in TMU, and 89 from dataset from Korea, and 12,618 in pharmacy plus. And for HOD2 inhibitors, exposure is even more common in several sources, around 1,080 in Berkeley, 12,000 in UK, 2,000 in TMU, and 2,000 in master dataset, and 15,000 in pharmacy plus. These numbers reassures us that some sites will have adequate power, while others may contribute more to broad picture than to single site estimates. And next slide, please. And counts are only our first check. We also need to understand who overlaps between exposure and outcomes. The early view is shown below. And across the sources that have reported, we see minimal co-occurrence. In fact, there is no overlap between the gastroparesis cohort and the acute pancreatitis cohort in those data. For intestinal obstruction, overlap appears only in Matrix Plus with 164 individuals in both in SGLT2 inhibitors ITT cohort and the intestinal obstruction cohort, 113 in both GLP-1 RAS and intestinal obstruction, and 2016 in both DPP-4 inhibitors. And next slide, please. Looking ahead, our plan has 3 parts. First, we are refreshing the INZO database to extend coverage through September 1st, 2025. We expect this to complete by the end of October, and as soon as it does, we will run cohort diagnostics and show the updated results. And second, we will upload the main study package to Atlas demo and begin its estimation runs across participating sites. Third, we will continue outreach to data partners, especially those with substantial GLP-1 RAS use. As we move, we welcome input on 2 items: the most appropriate active comparators in practice and practical approaches when overlap or events are limited. And next slide, please. And I'd like to highlight a few lessons that have helped me work faster and more transparent. The first is protocol first. We specified our design and avoid changes driven by observed results. When we must revise, we document the result and keep a version change log. The second is share openly in Teams channel. Posting our definition, decisions, and some diagnostics has helped mentors and partners catch issues early and stay aligned. The third part is to become comfortable with the OHDSI workflows, familiar with Atlas for cohort building. This will help us shorten time. And finally, we learn to build buffer time and check it tightly. Yeah, for example, our INZO database refresh was planned for the end of September, but it's still in progress. And next slide, please. And all of this ties into what OHDSI makes possible as skills. By mapping local data to the OMOP CDM, we can analyze quickly and in a standard way across diverse datasets. And Atlas enables point-and-click study design and reuse of concept sets and cohort definitions, so we do not review the work that this is already reliable. We also benefit from proven study blueprints like Legend T2DM that we can adapt to our question, which speeds execution while keeping methods consistent. And perhaps most importantly, the community itself accelerates learning. Regular meetings surface design issues early. Data partners and mentors offer hands-on help, and newcomers have guidance to build packages and follow best practices. And let me finish by thanking the community's help so far. We are grateful to mentors, reviewers, and data partners for the generous guidance and quick support that move this study forward. And if you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. And thanks for your time.
Thank you, Yongqi, for your presentation. Are there any questions or comments for Yongqi? Right. So maybe I'll just do another small promotion. I know Yongqi just did this as well, but again, we are looking for more data partners from the community. So if you know your database adequately covers type 2 diabetes patients, and if you know your institution has GLP-1 patients, please do contact us. The court diagnostics package is available right now, in which we can get a high-level picture of what will be feasible at your institution in terms of the number of GLP patients, the number of comparator patients, and how the overlaps look like right now. Because as Yongqi did highlight, we are seeing limited overlap around the cohorts or study cohorts and the outcomes that we want to look at. So having more data partners would greatly help Yongqi and his study move forward. Right, that was my small addition to Yongqi's presentation. If we have no further comments or questions, I will hand over to the floor to our Fudan team, who is here to present about their study and their updates as well. Jachi, will you be presenting, or is it Changrung?
I'll do the first.
Okay, I'll drive the slides. Let me know if you want me to move the slides.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm Changran from Fudan University. I'm doing a brief update for our study. So the next, please.
Yeah.
So our study is associated with fasting plasma glucose level and annual hospitalization days. And next one. I'm doing a quick recap for our study. So we are going to try to find the relations between the glucose level and the inpatient days. So we have the very common assumptions for if you have higher glucose, then you will stay in the hospital for a longer time. But there's no such kind of evidence for the very big study to support. So we are trying to build a study to see if it's the assumption is right or wrong. So next, please. So the study we design is pretty clear. As one is you're looking for the glucose level, and for here is looking for the fasting plasma glucose, which is FPG, and the other we are going to look at the length of the hospitalization day. So it means stay from the end till the start. So we're separating them into like different groups. For the FPG, we have the normal one, and pre-diabetes, and the diabetes one. And the other one is for the stay in the length for the hospitalization stays for less than 3 days, 4 to 7 days, and 8 to 30 days, and more than 30 days. We're trying to see if different groups, they have correlations between those. So next, please. So we built 2 cohorts to see if the data partners have the data we want. So that's because of the discussion we have previously in the study group. So the first one is we do all the FPG tests in China, but FPG seems not very popular or common in the other countries or regions. So it is hard to find if they have the FPG. So we built the first cohort to see if your data have the FPG data. So the other one is the glucose measurement in hospital is based on all the inpatients data you have, and then you have the common glucose measurement, see if you have the data to join our study. So next, please.
Changren, I just added in one more slide to highlight the court diagnostics package. So based on the cohorts that Changren just described, we created a court diagnostics package to circulate to data partners to better understand how fasting plasma glucose is captured in the community. So Changren, I'll move on to the next slide, okay?
Okay. So we got several results back from our data partners. The first one is from the Belgium, UK, MRD, and Korea. So you can see for the FPG only, the Belgium, they have the FPG data, but they don't have any FPG with inpatients because their data is all from the outpatients. It's from the office visiting. So that's pretty. And the UK MRD, they also have the FPG data in their data set, but for the inpatient, they have very less. It's about like 1,000 or up. And for the Korea, they have a lot of data of the glucose measurement, but for inpatients, but it's pretty hard to find if it's FPG or not, because they're all mapping the data into the glucose. And for the FPG, they have very less. It's like 1,900. So next, please. So for the data status of China, so this is a screenshot of the system in Zhongshan Hospital. So they took the glucose test for the inpatients like for 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 times a day, and from 6 a.m. till the like 9 p.m. So they're all doing this like in the FPG. So they have a lot of data recorded for their inpatients. So that's why we try to build the data, the study like this. And for the Japan, they have the data set for the pancreatic cancer with all the inpatients, and they have the glucose measurement for their patients, but it's not very sure if it's empty stomach or not. And also they don't sure if it's doing the test by using the FPG method or not. So that's the status of our data. So next one. So the next step is the first one is we're looking for more data. You can see like the FPG is pretty rare in all the data sets through the OHDSI community. So if more data partner could join us, we can see if we can keep our study by sticking to the FPG. Especially for we were looking for the data from like India and Singapore and morning, if you can help us. And the other one is should we do the OHDSI like general glucose level instead of the FPG, because the FPG is too little for us to do the study, and the general glucose level in OHDSI is too bright. It's hard to know like the glucose is before the meal or after meal or whatever. So most of the data partners, they can show the data they have glucose level for the patients, and there are no more like descriptions of their data. So it's pretty hard to do the the characterization, or you can separate them into different groups. But that's the only data we can got now. So if we try to like mapping our like FPG into the general glucose, so we need to the third point which is we need to update the study design, like based on the general glucose. And the last point is if we should do the characterization or not. Like we were separating the patients into like by gender or by age or by different diagnostic, because now we have very little data. We only have like I think it's under 1 million level. We can only get several like thousands for all of the data. So before before we build the study, we tried to look at the data on the OHDSI demo website. They said there have billions of the data from the glucose or the FPG or the inpatient's FPG. So that's like pretty far away from the numbers. So if we have very little numbers of the patients or the group, should we do the characterization or not? So we're looking for the advice or the support from the communities. So that's for my presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Changgun. Is there any questions for the Fudan team? So maybe I'll just add in a little bit as well, like I did for the Peking study, right? So for the Fudan study, as Changren has explained, this is specifically looking at the association between fasting plasma glucose levels versus the annual hospitalization days. The study team's original assumption was that there will be a lot of fasting plasma glucose measurements available in the community because it is a standard practice in China for patients to get fasting plasma glucose measurements in the inpatient setting. However, based on our exploration from various data partners, we're seeing various discrepancies between how things are captured in different countries. So it would be good if we could get more data partners and get a better idea of how whether or not this discrepancy is disparate. We keep seeing this discrepancy, or the more data partners we see, we somehow go to a direction into one of the directions, right? So we do see fasting plasma glucose or not, right? So this is where we're looking for more data partners. In terms of the overall design, I think what Changran is saying is depending on how what insights we get from our data partners, we'll have to come to sort of a decision between whether or not this study can move forward with the fasting plasma glucose concept, or we need to move on to the more general glucose measurements we're seeing more commonly seen in the data partners so far. So that's just a quick addition summary of Changran's presentation. Is there any questions or comments? Okay, so that's all we had prepared for today, guys. So again, thank you, Jiwon, for sharing your experience. It was great hearing from a quote unquote newcomer in the community joining the global symposium. And Yongchi and Changron, I know we asked for a presentation at very short notice, but thank you for coming on to the call to provide updates on your studies. We look forward to continuing the progress at our bi-weekly meetings that we have for your studies. All right, if there's no final comments or closing
Hey,
comments.
sorry.
Hi, Lynette.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Yeah, I just wanted to, if you have some time, just to share about the follow-up that I did after my presentation about letters, the last call.
Right.
Yeah.
At the scientific forum, right? Yeah. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So one of the main questions that was asked there was about whether letters has like a batch sort of capability. So I did go and ask James about it, and he does have like a workaround sort of method to achieve that batch effect. So essentially, when you use the local sort of command, instead of passing in just one term, you can pass in multiple terms. So for example, maybe if you have your terms all listed down in Excel, like something like headache, stomachache, cancer, then you would need to take each of these terms out, put quotation marks around them, and then put them into the command and run that command. So that is how that would work. And I did test this out, and I think that there is some limitation in terms of how many terms you can pass in. But that could also be because of like maybe my machine limitation or something. So if you're interested, maybe you could also test this out. And yeah, let us know how it goes. Yep. So that's all I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynette. So for those of you who are wondering what this is, so at the last scientific forum, the Singapore A-Star team presented on a mapping tool developed by one of our UK collaborators called Lettuce. There was a question about whether or not the tool itself supports a batch of terminologies versus right now the interface sort of looked like you need to search one by one. So I think this question was actually asked by Chi. I hope it answers your question, Chi. But yeah, thanks for the update, Lynette, on that question asked. All right. If nobody has any questions or comments, we'll give everyone back 9 minutes of their time. Again, thank you everybody who presented, and we'll see you at the next community call. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Ciao.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.